everyone, welcome back to my vlog. I'm Robin, or A Hobbit's Reading List, and happy holidays! This week we are currently in Arkansas. We'll be going back home on Thursday, and then we will also have a little New Year's Eve party. In the meantime, I will be working on accomplishing my new goal of reading 100 books in the year. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I realized that I didn't film since I finished The Little Nugget. I finished it this afternoon. Dad and I recorded the podcast. It was a slog, which is what I've been saying the entire time. Since this is a new vlog, for anyone who hasn't seen my last two, The Little Nugget is a book by P.G. Wodehouse. It's one of his standalone novels. And it follows this guy named Peter who gets roped into a kidnapping scheme. Yeah, Wodehouse is pretty cavalier about kidnapping. Which is apparently more accessible in those times, in 1913. I'll go ahead and say this. I gave it 2.5 stars. And in the podcast, I made some realizations about why I didn't like it. To start, I felt like I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about any of them. And I also felt that there was a lot of movement in the plot, but no tension. And so I didn't care about the plot either. I essentially just didn't care about anything. And that's new in a Wodehouse novel. Usually there's a character that I really like, or I'm really interested in the story and what's going to happen, and the fact that I just didn't care about anything was upsetting. Because at this point, I've read 13 Wodehouse novels, one pretty much every month for the past year. And so I have a certain degree of trust, and this was my lowest rated book for the contents within the story. The only other book that has a 2.5 star, which is the lowest rating I've given to Wodehouse, is Smith in the City, and that's because I hate the characters of Smith. And so that one, Dad pointed out, like, that one, I liked the story, and it had other characters in it that I enjoy. And so, obviously, I didn't mind it. The thing that brought it down the most was Smith. This, the way I described it, was in The Little Nugget, there was just nothing that earned the book to get any higher. So, it's fine. Literally. Just right in the middle. So that sucks. It kind of sucks to not end the year. I have 3 more books to read at least, but it just like, oh. But I'm all packed up. I'm leaving tomorrow to drive back home, and I'm going to listen to Smart Women by Judy Blume tomorrow from my audiobook, because I have an idea. So by the time this comes out, my TBR will have already come out. What I decided I was going to do in January is to my TBR is reading all the books that were on my TBRs throughout the year that I didn't read. Obviously, there are too many for me to actually do, but I would like to make a dent. So I'm planning on going ahead and starting that. Obviously, I want to read more from my December TBR, but anything that I don't will carry over into January. But I only had 2 audiobooks in December, and I've listen to both of them. So Smart Women is a book that I was supposed to read in, I think, October, and I didn't get to it. And it's about 9.5 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and listen to it on my drive tomorrow and just go ahead and knock it out. So yeah, so that's my plan. I'll tell you more about what Smart Women is about tomorrow, probably when I'm reviewing it. So next time you see me, I will be home. I had a really good trip. I love spending time with my family. It was a really nice holiday. And I'm already making plans for when I can hang out with them again. But until then, we had to go home, get back to regular life. So I'll tell you guys later. So I got home last night at like 6:30, and I was exhausted because I drove 12 hours. And I did finish Smart Women by Judy Blume, which is a book about two divorcees and entering into new relationships and dealing with teenage and preteen children while these women navigate this different era of their lives. One of them gets into a serious relationship with the other one's ex-husband, which adds some complications. It was fine. You know, I think my main issue was that it was very dated, and a lot of the behaviors felt uncomfortable, but at that time were probably acceptable or desirable. So there's that. So, like, for example, at the very beginning, the first chapter of the book, one of the main characters, Margot, meets her new neighbor, Andrew, who is the ex-husband of an acquaintance. And she's soaking in her hot tub naked. It's in the 80s. I'll say that. It was published in 1983. And Andrew sort of invites himself over and asks if he can join her in the hot tub. And she's like, no, don't really know you. And he just starts stripping down and gets in anyway. So that was the first chapter. And I was like, that's uncomfortable. I don't like that. And that opinion never really changed. It was fine. You know, I'm very good at like separating, like, okay, this was written in 1800, so obviously behaviors and what is acceptable or not acceptable are going to be different. Usually I'm pretty good at that, but maybe because this book came out like recently, you know, in the past 30 years, I struggle with that more. It doesn't feel that distant, even though it was still before I was born. I don't know, but that did really bother me. So it got a 3-star. Like, it was fine. I think it was decently well written. It's Judy Blume. But that was my 98th book of the year. So I'm gonna head to work. I'm gonna listen to Lady Susan on audio. It's about 2.5 hours, so I should finish it. I should finish it today. If I don't, for some reason, I'll finish it Sunday. And yeah, I'm gonna bring a novel with me to start. I'm gonna start reading Wide Sargossa Sea, because that was the book that a week ago I had picked to read after I finished The Little Nugget when I was feeling optimistic. Obviously, I didn't get to it, but I will still read it next. So that's the plan. So I'm gonna eat breakfast and then head out. I have finished my 99th book of the year. I read Wide Sargossa Sea by Rhys, which is essentially the... I'm trying to think of how to describe it without giving spoilers away for a different book. So, it is an expansion on a character that is in Jane Eyre that we don't really know a lot about. And I don't want to say who the character is because it is a spoiler for Jane Eyre, but it is a look at the possibility of like where this character came from and how they ended up the way they did. I hope it's appreciated how vague I'm being because I know some people like that's a really important part of the story of Jane Eyre. And so, but White Sargossa Sea is sort of like, it's, I wouldn't say it's fan fiction. It does kind of feel like it sometimes though. I think it's pretty well written. I feel like the change that happened to the character felt very sudden and without a clear reason. But then on the other hand, I also think it was happening slowly in the background. But I feel like I feel like a lot of things just weren't explained super well. And so to me, it's like, okay, if you're gonna do like a retelling and this expansion on a character, like essentially like a case study, why wouldn't you make things like really clear? The only thing I can think of is that the author was essentially writing how this character thought, because they are going mad and they're kind of making everyone else around them mad too. So yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I think maybe I hyped it up too much in my head, and so I was disappointed. So I gave it 3 stars. It's fine. I probably won't read it again. You know, it is what it is. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I have one more book to read today. I will finish Lady Susan. I listened to like 30 minutes on Friday. Lady Susan is a very short novel. It's considered unfinished by Jane Austen, and it is letters from various characters to other characters. But pretty much it is about Lady Susan, who is a young widow. She's about like 36ish, and she has her sights set on a young brother of, okay, wait, of her sister-in-law. It is her, I'm trying to think of how they're related. Is it her brother? I think it's her brother. It's not her husband's brother, I think. I don't know. I feel like there should be different terms for like how people are related, because her sister-in-law's younger brother is who she wants to marry. Meanwhile, she's trying to marry off her daughter, who's about 16, and she considers just like very stupid and kind of useless. She's trying to marry her daughter off to this person that she knows her daughter won't like, but he has money. And everyone else is like, okay, yeah, she's beautiful, but she's also like manipulative and mean. So it's just like people are just talking about other people. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I'm trying to remember the brother-in-law thing, sister-in-law thing. I don't know. I'll do research and I'll pop back later and let you know what happens, because I will finish it today, because it's gonna be my 100th book of the year. And yeah, it's exciting. Since I've been tracking the books that I read, I've never read that many. I probably did, when I was way younger, but since I've been tracking, that's the most I've read in a year. So yeah, just want to let you know what I thought, and now I'm going to get ready to go to work and finish Lady Susan. I have officially read 100 books this year. I finished Lady Susan about 2 hours ago. I was finishing up some work stuff before I, made it official on like Storygraph and everything. But I did it. I read 100 books in a year. That is the most that I've read since I've kept track of that stuff. Lady Susan is, I sort of gave a synopsis earlier. It's written in letters, and so it's fairly quick. Even though I listened to it, like holding the book, it's like 64 pages long. I just noticed there's a stink bug on my husband's computer, and I don't know how long it's been there, but I just noticed it. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it there. So it was pretty quick. It's like 3 hours long. And what I appreciated though was that it had a cast that read the letters, and so each voice sounded different, which was really cool. And I'm really distracted by this bug. Because I'm really worried it's just gonna like fly right at me. So I'm gonna make this as quick as I can. So it was really interesting. I feel like this is considered an unfinished work of Jane Austen, even though it was published, because the ending is very sudden. Like all of a sudden the letters stop and the narrator's like, so this is what happened next. And sort of just like outlines everything. But I still felt like it was satisfying, but it would have been cool to like read the letters. So I gave it a 3.5. I wish that my last book of the year was a little more like exciting, but it's fine. So yeah, so that's 100 books for the year. My goal for next year is gonna it moved unexpectedly. Is gonna be 108. So that the goal will be to read 9 books in a month, which is not impossible. I've certainly have done that, and I think in December I read 11. So it's not impossible, but it is a little more difficult than I have done previously. And yeah, that's really it. So this is the last vlog of the year, and obviously it's coming out in 2024, but today is New Year's Eve, and I'm looking forward to just sort of relaxing with my friends. And I don't know where the bug went. So yeah, thank you for everyone who has watched me throughout the year. I really appreciate it in words I can't even like articulate. And I'm hoping that next year is even better for my reading and for my growth as a reader and as a YouTuber. And I found the bug again. I'm gonna go ahead and go so I can get away from this bug. I hope everyone had a happy new year, and I'm really looking forward to everything that I'm going to be putting out next year in 2024. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.